All right, guys. So I know this looks a little different from yours, probably, but I just wanted to go over a few things. I normally teach this class live, synchronous, just because I think there's such a wonderful, I don't know, um, debate to be had every single module. It's one of the classes that I think is best for helping us to develop that legal lens that we should always be in whenever we are working on these types of cases. And anyhow, what I wanted to do though is I wanted to talk to you very quickly about the assignments because if you've been with me before, then you have definitely seen the way I do certain things. But I actually revamped this course because I wanted to do some things just a little bit different. And there will be some assignments that will get released from week to week because I've got to assign like groups. And I don't know how it's going to work out. So you guys just be patient with me, and I'd love your feedback kind of along the way um, to determine if it's something that's sustainable. I am going to be revamping a lot of the other courses as well. But um, anyhow, let's get into it. Don't forget, if you have not done your no-show assignment, make sure you do it. It's here. Um, because this is summer, it's going to be kind of tight and compressed. And so we're going to try to do about two modules. And I think we do two modules for 2 weeks in a row, and then it's one, and then two in a row, and then one. So it kind of evens out a little bit. I might be wrong though. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but nonetheless, just make sure that you stay on top of like the lectures and stuff like that because this class does not have any actual book or anything like that that you're reading. So you're going to be relying on me to get the bulk of the information that you are needing. Okay. Um, and I did give you different documents for each one and just kind of, you know, trying to give you more of a mix just because this is one of those classes that I feel like it's better to learn in more of a hands-on type way. I could be wrong. I might have a completely different opinion by the time we get to the end. Anyhow, so this class relies more heavily on discussions, and so you have two per week. Okay. Now, the rules in this one are just a little bit different. This is going to eventually be the rules for all the other courses, but I want to discuss this. Your initial post should contain at least 75 words. Okay. And it has to directly answer the prompt using legal reasoning, not just your personal opinion. Okay. So you can reference a case that we've talked about, a constitutional provision, a legal test, a legal doctrine, whatever that we have discussed. All right. Um, if it says to choose one, you have, and there are some where it's kind of choose one or the other to talk about. Um, Include the wording for the option that you select. So, in other words, if this says, "What is the most important right we get from the Bill of Rights?" or "What's the most important branch of the government?" Make sure that you include which one so that we know which one that you're responding to. Okay. Then it says you must reply to at least one of your peers. All right. And then it says you should add something meaningful for the conversation. You can agree, disagree. You can ask a question. You can apply a different case or introduce some kind of a fact that changes the legal analysis. All right. What you cannot do in this course is I agree because or I disagree because. That is the one thing I cannot tolerate in this class, like at all. This is about expanding our knowledge when it comes to the application of constitutional rights, which remember, our constitutional rights start and stop where the other person's begins. And so it's very important that we all have some sort of firm understanding about our rights and how they affect us, and then also on how they affect others as well. Now, again, it says you must expand or challenge the post that you're responding to. All right. Now, two things to remember. One is We are discussing constitutional law, and you will have strong opinions about a lot of this stuff. All right. But we don't care. We don't care. We have to work on our legal lens or our legal compass. All right. So, particularly when we get to like the weeks where we talk about Second Amendment rights, or we talk about abortion, or, death with dignity, things like that, people have very, very strong opinions. All right. So, we don't want to allow what our personal opinion is to affect what it is that we are producing. Okay. Then it says to identify the issue, apply the rule, compare the facts, and explain the reasoning. Okay. I'm giving you in depth what it is that I'm looking for. All right. And also, it says that they are timely. So make sure that you're doing it. You're going to have points deducted for it being late, but I will accept it past the due date. But nonetheless, they are better when they are done in a way that makes it so that others can participate and join in on the conversation at hand. Now, um, oh, your instructor has overridden your discussion. Great. See, I've never seen it from this perspective before, so that's fun. Um, as you can see, you have two different due dates. So this is your post, and then this is your reply. So I give you a couple. Oh, that should be a couple days extra. Why is this oh my gosh, y'all. This was changed. So I'm gonna have to go in and fix this. So I apologize for that. You have a rubric where you're being graded. Also, one other thing that I want to point out to you is wait, oh, you can do it here. Okay, so over here, you can create like you can create like a video or something if you want to use that to put up for your response. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a um, it doesn't necessarily have to be written this go round. And I know that sometimes this is one of those subjects where some people are better thinkers and some are better are speakers and some are better writers. So do you. Um, we also have one for the first branch. Now on module 2, we have the judiciary. So between those, just make sure to do those. Now, these have your these questions regarding these specific cases, and I give you the kind of the background of the cases here for you to use when it comes to answering these particular questions. So, all I'm saying is just make sure that you pay attention to those. Um, you can rely on that document. You can download it, open another screen, print it, do whatever it is you need to do. See, some of these dates are correct. So I don't know why those other ones are not correct. But I will go through and check each one of them. The other thing is you will find actually those will exist in every single week on some level. Some of them, I try to make them match the topic at hand. Some of them, not so much, but that's okay because we're working on the analysis aspect of things and it kind of pulls it together better. Um, anyhow, the other thing that you have is this chat with Avery Quinn. All right. So Avery Quinn is our resident AI bot. All right. So this is where you're going to be going back and forth with the AI bot. All right. You have to have a minimum of 8 exchanges on each side. All right. You don't have to tell it that you're done. You don't have to, and I've seen this. And I wish I would have thought to explain this to people before. But you don't have to like argue with it to get it to stop, talking to you. Just cut it off when you get to a place to where you're at least 8 and you feel like you have an understanding of what it is that you're talking about. Every single week is going to have something that you're going to talk with Avery about. And this is where it's going to show me that you have understood what is being discussed. So, for example, many people think the Constitution is mainly about individual rights, but it also creates a structure for government power. So, explain why federalism matters. When should the federal government have authority, and when should the states have room to govern for themselves? All right. Then it has a follow up question. So do not forget your follow up question. All right. and some of them are a little easier than like that one. The one, let's see what it is on the second one. On the second one, Supreme Court has the power to decide or to declare laws or government actions unconstitutional. Why is judicial review important? And what are the risks of the court of giving the courts that much power? Follow up, should courts focus on more on the text of the Constitution, the intent of the framers, precedent, or modern consequences when deciding constitutional cases? So this right here is, again, it's just to show that you have an understanding. And I'll be honest with you, I started doing this a couple of semesters ago for this particular class because it helped me to kind of pinpoint earlier on where people might have been struggling with material. And trust that I used to teach this class with a book. And I felt like people struggled more learning from a book than they did from, lectures and other things. So humor me. Now, the one thing that you also have down here is you have um, a memo assignment, okay? And it's called Why Checks Whom. That is exactly what it's meant to be, by the way. But I give you a scenario, okay? And I give you everything. So I want you to go down and I want you to look at it bit by bit. Like you have to write the memo um, giving an analysis of the constitutional issues raised. I'm not asking for you to be perfect. This assignment is more about having a basic understanding of why and why it's more important than whom. Okay. Um, and what I want you to do is also focus on formatting. So your memo should have these following headings. It should have an introduction heading, and then you should briefly summarize whatever the conflict is. Go back to your facts, your scenario up above. Then talk about it under the federalism analysis. I give you exactly what you should be addressing in terms of the federalism part. You can break it down in one, two, three, four. You can break it down into individual paragraphs. You can break it, but you're going to have to make it so that it's professional looking. But each and every single one of these, so you should have the header and then whatever it is. Headers always are going to be bolded, underlined, bolded and underlined, whatever. It will be approximately 1 to 2 pages. If you can do it in one page, I'm all for it. All for it. Okay. And you should look at two of the principles that we talk about this particular week or these particular modules, which is going to be things, it's going to be all federalism related. Okay. So I don't recall if we go into all of these, but I threw these in there because I was thinking about those are some of the ones that do come up. But anyhow, what I want to say too is that you can have the traditional written memo. If you so choose to go about it in a different way, you are welcome to put together a PowerPoint presentation and make a slide for each one of them, but you will have to have a recording that goes with it and not just reading to me what the slides say. You have to give me a presentation that gives me exactly what it is. You can create a legal analysis podcast episode. You can do some sort of, video explanation, all these different things. I don't care. Get creative with it. You'll be writing enough memos before the end of this program that doing this one memo differently is not going to make or break, your knowledge in that respect. But I do give you a checklist for you to kind of consider and just make sure that you have everything all on there. So I hope this helps. Please let me know if there is anything that you might still have questions on, and I will be glad to help you. And I will go in and fix those dates. Bye.